Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 167. I'm John Cooney here to talk to you about comics released the 1st of April 2015, beginning as usual with my first 5, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, and I'll give you a little more depth on them, starting with number 1, Batman Eternal number 52. This month in Batman Eternal, the epic Bat story over a year in the making comes to a stunning end. Gotham City is in flames, villains are running wild in the streets. Bat-Tech has been corrupted, and the mastermind behind it all has put a knife in Batman's ribs. How will the Dark Knight put an end to this nightmare, and how will it shape the face of Gotham City to come? Series co-writer James Tynion IV explained, quote, "We've only got one issue left, and it's all building to this one giant moment. Taking on a weekly comic series I thought would be one of the most difficult experiences of my life, but working with so many talented writers and creators really made it a great experience. It was a room with no ego. We tried to make it really exciting, and I think we did a damn good job," close quote. He went on to say, quote, "The thing we challenged ourselves with at the very beginning was to set up all these pieces of Gotham that would set the stage for the next generation of Batman stories which you've never read, and that, combined with Endgame, really sets up what we've got coming in June. You guys think it's crazy seeing those pictures, but you don't even know," close quote. At number 2, we've got Cyclops number 12, If Power Corrupts, and Absolute Power Corrupts Absolutely. What do you think near infinite cosmic power granted by the Black Vortex does? Jean Grey is about to find out, which spells very bad news for both Jean Grey and the universe. But there's one man who might be able to stop her, who might be able to save her, except in this case it's not exactly a man, it's a 16-year-old space pirate in training and maybe the love of Jean Grey's life, Scott Summers. Can Cyclops save the day? Maybe, but we can't guarantee he'll survive the experience. As the series concludes this issue, series writer John Layman shared why he enjoyed this incarnation of Cyclops. Quote, "My favorite thing about Cyclops is his focus and drive. My favorite thing about young Cyclops is he's sorta a what-if story brought into continuity. What if Scott got a second chance? What if he didn't have all the baggage and everything that happened to him? You strip away all that and you really get a chance to explore the core character. And I love adding the father element to it, which allowed the story to have a lot of emotion and heart. It was a great run, certainly one of my favorite things I've written," close quote. At number 3, we've got Convergence number 0 of 8. Where do worlds go when they die? The earthquakes felt around the multiverse, Superman's lost days after Doomed, the world's end. All these points will converge as the history of the DCU is spun from a new perspective, the perspective of a mad god and his arrogant child. The biggest story in DC history ties into literally every DC story ever told, and it all begins here. Kingdom Come, Red Sun, Wild West, Justice League, Captain Carrot, and the Zoo Crew, all the worlds you remember can still be found on Telos. Everything matters, every story matters. Don't miss the start of DC's April-May 2015 event with this special issue. DC co-publisher Dan DiDio described the Convergence event in a video.
And this is Convergence. There was a great expression from Crisis on Infinite Earths. Worlds live, worlds die, and nothing will ever be the same. Well, here in Convergence, we're going to follow the worlds that died. Follow them to the edge of the multiverse, where they have a chance for resurrection under the watchful eye of our greatest villain, Brainiac. This is the ultimate Brainiac, who steals cities at the moments of their destruction and places them under large domes and brings them to a planet outside of time and space where he can experiment on them. The heroes of the cities don't realize they're part of some grand experiment. All they know, they've been trapped under a dome for about a year, and they're all desperately trying to find a way to escape. Some of our heroes are trying to maintain order, but all of our heroes have lost their powers, and because of that, some of our heroes have just decided to quit. The reason behind Brainiac's actions is one of the true mysteries of the Convergence story. And the answer to that question will shock every generation of DC fan. At the beginning of the story, Brainiac disappears, and the void that Brainiac leaves is filled by the planet incarnate, Telos, a new villain we're introducing to the DC universe. He understands Brainiac's needs, he understands Brainiac's motivations, but he has a different plan. And he drops all the domes simultaneously and puts every city in conflict with the other. The result is a story about characters struggling for survival in a fight that will impact the entire future of the DC multiverse. And you'll see ripples from the story moving out in the very next month in some of the new series we're introducing in June, and more importantly, there'll be stories we'll be playing out for the years to come. Here with Convergence, we get a chance to revisit those characters that were left unresolved, and tell that one last great story with them. We have the birth of Superman and Lois Lane's child. We have the resolution to Renee Montoya's question. We see some of the craziest battles ever assembled in DC Comics take place in this series. We get a chance to see Wonder Woman battling Joker Vampire. And more importantly, and most excitingly, Harley Quinn versus Captain Carrot. We brought some of the most classic talent back to the series that made them popular and brought them together with some of the hottest new talent of today. Len Wein returns to the character he created in Swamp Thing, working with Kelly Jones. And Dan Jurgens returns to the character that he killed, Superman. These are the things that we're excited about, and we want you to be excited about too. This is an event not to be missed.
At number 4, we've got Uncanny Inhumans number 0. The industry's best-selling artists come to the Inhumans. The prelude to one of Marvel's biggest launches of 2015 is here. Think you know Black Bolt? Think again as the men who killed Wolverine show you a side of the Inhuman King you've never seen before. Series writer Charles Soule shared his plans for the series. Quote, "The story takes everything we've built on with Inhumans so far and pushes it even further. The main character here will be Black Bolt, the Inhuman King, although he won't be doing the same sort of things we're used to seeing him do. Black Bolt is typically a stoic leader, part of a larger cast of Inhumans who get their hands dirty in ways that he doesn't. But here, he's more or less on his own, at least at first, having a much more hands-on role. He's like an Inhuman Rambo." Close quote. At number 5, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 17. The Ghost has invaded Parker Industries. With this super-powered saboteur, no secret is safe. No people are safe either, for that matter. Marvel's senior editor Nick Lowe recently discussed his confidence in series writer Dan Slott. Quote, "Dan Slott has now written more issues of Spider-Man than anybody, and there's a reason for that. I would have had a perfect opportunity, if I wanted to, when I came on the Spider-Man books, to take Dan off of Amazing Spider-Man and put somebody else on. That can often happen when there's editorial changes. But not only was I a big fan of Dan's Spider-Man, everyone in the world seems to be too. It's such a great book, and he has such a keen vision for this character and for pushing Peter in new directions." Close quote. Rounding out the top 10 at number 6, we've got Spider-Gwen number 3. Police Lieutenant Frank Castle is not a man to be trifled with. His new assignment? Get Spider-Gwen. Nuff said. At number 7, we've got Avengers number 43. In 2 months, time runs out. At number 8, we've got Exo Manowar number 35. Dead hand means death. In the far reaches of deep space, the ultimate failsafe of an extinct alien race is finally counted down to 0, and the robot army called Dead Hand has been activated. The civilization that built them has fallen, and now to combat the doomsday threat that destroyed their world, Dead Hand will complete the mission that their creators could not. Soulless and brutal, this billion-strong legion is the phantom army of a dead world, and it will cleanse the universe by any means necessary. But what unthinkable menace were they created to destroy? And will Dead Hand's slow march across the galaxy spell death for countless worlds? Soon, Eric of Dacia will be forced to confront the secrets that have pushed him to the terrible turning point that is Dead Hand, and battle a single-minded killing machine unlike any he has seen before. Outmatched and vastly outnumbered, how can Eric stop something unstoppable, something that knows no fear, only eradication? At number 9, we've got Tech Jacket number 9. In order for the entire freaking galaxy to survive, Tech Jacket must join forces with his greatest enemies, which, face it, is no fun to do, but neither is the destruction of everyone and everything he holds dear, so... At number 10, we've got Avengers Rage of Ultron hardcover. It was another glorious victory for the mighty Avengers. Good triumphed over evil, and Ultron was shot into space, never to be seen again, or so they thought. Now, years later, the homicidal artificial intelligence, so long devoted to ending life on Earth, has found a new world to conquer, one with its own horrific legacy. When Titan, birthplace of Thanos, falls, planet Ultron rises in its place. Thanos' brother Star Fox must seek the aid of his former allies, but the Avengers he finds are radically different from the ones he once knew. Among them is Ultron's creator, Giant Man, and when Hank Pym confronts his now planet-sized son, the responsibilities of fatherhood have never loomed so large. Rick Remender and Jerome Opeña unleash the full robotic rage of Ultron on Earth's mightiest heroes. For the best of the rest, from DC Comics, we've got Arkham Manor Endgame one-shot. What do Batman's villains do on the craziest night in Gotham City? And who will survive when the madness of Arkham Manor spills into the streets? Next, we have Batman and Robin Annual number 3. After a year that included death, resurrection, and battles with the forces of Apocalypse, it's time for Batman and Robin to get back to the basics, both as father and son and partners in crime fighting. But have the events of the past year left too great a rift for them to bounce back from? We've also got Gotham Academy Endgame one-shot. Gotham City has been overrun by craziness and the power is out at Gotham Academy. But don't worry, the kids are safely locked up, huddled around candles and flashlights and telling the Gotham City version of ghost stories, Joker stories. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure connected to the Academy's past is patrolling the grounds with a crossbow, but who is it? Next, we have Harley Quinn number 16. Not a dream, not a hoax, not an imaginary story. This is where everything changes for Harley Quinn for more than forever. Introducing the Gang of Harleys. We've also got the Names number 8 of 9. Becoming more embroiled in the strange organization known as the Names, Katya is handed over to the psychotic Tara, and her genius stepson Philip is too engrossed in the mystery of the dark loops to save her. Evil alien machinations, the brutal murder of innocents, an unexpected liaison, and strange seduction all await in the penultimate episode of The Names. Next, we have Teen Titans Annual number 1. The Titans deal with Superboy's return to the team and the trail of destruction that he's left in his wake. And we've got Wonder Woman number 40. It's the penultimate chapter of the series-altering first story arc by the new creative team of writer Meredith Finch and penciler David Finch as Wonder Woman faces a challenger to her throne created solely to defeat her. But how can Diana stop a foe whose every strength is matched to her every weakness? From Marvel Comics, we've got Avengers Millennium number 1 of 4. At a secret Hydra installation hidden away in rural Japan, the Avengers discover a time portal that sends them on an adventure that spans millennia. But what kind of bad guys have a time machine they don't use to change the past? Bad guys who know they win. The only thing standing between our immutable past and our wasted, ruined future are the Avengers, finally reunited to battle a doomsday weapon thousands of years in the hatching. Next, we have Avengers Ultron Forever number 1, part 1 of 3, the start of a 3-part Avengers event. 500 years into the future, Ultron has won. Humanity is all but extinct, dead or enslaved by the Ultron singularity. Now 7 Avengers are brought through time by Dr. Doom to battle the machine god for the fate of the cosmos, or die trying. It begins here, an epic adventure spanning the past and future of the Avengers. We've also got Guardians of the Galaxy Best Story Ever one-shot. It's not every day that Peter Quill ends up in jail. Oh, wait, never mind, this happens a lot. But he doesn't always get Rocket stuck there with him, and he definitely doesn't always regale the guards with the best story ever. Let's just hope he keeps their attention long enough for the other Guardians to bust him out. Next, we have Guardians Team Up number 4. She's tough, she's green, she's in New York, and I want her dead. That's what the intergalactic bounty hunters were told when they took the assignment, only it turns out there's 2 people in New York who fit that exact description. Want to find out what happens when you get both of them mad? Well, then read Guardians of the Galaxy Team Up number 4. We've also got Iron Fist the Living Weapon number 11, how Iron Fist got his chi back. Iron Fist's biggest battle yet. 2 titans collide. A new powerhouse enters the fray. Life or death? Once again, the choice must be made. Next, we have Rocket Raccoon number 10. As the finest gun-wielding, pickpocketing, smack-talking raccoon there is, Rocket's skills are going to get put to the ultimate test. Is he really alone? Find out once and for all. We've also got Uncanny Avengers number 3. It was a perfect day on Counter-Earth, then Sabretooth showed up. The Avengers are divided. The hunt for their missing friends unearths a terrible secret. What evil lurks on the moon of Counter-Earth? And we've got Wolverines number 13. This is it, the moment you've been waiting for. Make sure to pick up this issue for the debut of a very special guest. Also special appearances by some of your favorite Marvel Universe heroes and even some villains. But what will the Paradise and Wolverines team think of the return? From Dark Horse Comics, we've got Lady Killer number 4 of 5. Josie is a happily dedicated housewife and mother in 1960s suburban Seattle, but she's keeping a secret from her family. She's also a contract killer with nerves of steel. But when the tables turn and she finds herself with a target on her own back, she looks for answers from another mysterious, deadly woman. From IDW Publishing, we've got Galaxy Quest The Journey Continues number 3 of 4. The cast of Galaxy Quest have landed on the planet Drith, charged by an alien rebel with fixing a mistake they didn't even know they made by meddling in the politics of another planet. But first they have to get through an alien wasteland in one piece. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Guy is stuck in a comic convention with a group of aliens masquerading as his co-stars. Nothing could go wrong there, right? Out in trades this week, we've got DC Comics 0-year trade paperback. 6 years ago, Gotham City weathered its greatest test as the Riddler shut down all power days before a terrifying superstorm. But the Dark Knight isn't the only hero to surface during this moment in time known as 0 Year. Journey back to 0 Year to see the early tales of DC's greatest heroes and heroines. Collects Batman 24 and 25, Detective Comics 25, Batgirl 25, Batwing 25, Batwoman 25, Birds of Prey 25, Catwoman 25, The Flash 25, Green Arrow 25, Green Lantern Corps 25, Nightwing 25, Red Hood and the Outlaws 25, and Action Comics 25. And we've got Avengers Scarlet Witch by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning trade paperback. Wanda Maximoff, the Avengers' most bewitching member, goes it alone in this collection of her solo adventures away from Earth's mightiest heroes. First, Cosmic Riding Team DNA's science and Scarlet Witch's magic combine in true comic book alchemy. Wanda must confront very personal demons, pitting her uncanny hex powers against horrifically twisted versions of the West Coast Avengers and the unwanted affections of old nemesis Master Pandemonium. Plus, Wanda's rich history is explored, including her mystical past as a gypsy girl, her relationship with Brother Quicksilver, and her pirate ancestor Red Lucy. Guest starring Doctor Strange. Collect Scarlet Witch number 1 through 4 and Avengers Origin Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver number 1, plus material from Marvel Team Up number 125, Solo Avengers number 5, Marvel Comics Presents number 60 through 63 and 143 and 144, and Mystic Arcana Scarlet Witch. Okay, so that's just a few of my favorite books out this week. There's still plenty of others available, and I broke out all the Marvel titles this week in their own video, as well as a separate video for all of DC, and even a video with the top independent publishers. You can find them all on my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com. And we'll also have links up on the leagueofnerds.com, our Facebook page, so be sure to like us there too. And of course, you can follow everything I'm reading on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find links to everything in the About section at he'sgotissues.com. And a reminder that both He's Got Issues and the League of Nerds are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.